Hello. Today I'm going to talk about an app that I developed for the Grow with Google scholarship. It's called a cribbage counter. The app basically keeps track of score for cribbage, so there's no need for a cribbage board as long as you have this app and a deck of cards. So, cribbage is a multifaceted game. It has many aspects of gameplay and many ways that you can score and rack up points, which made this app a little bit harder to develop than, let's say, the court counter basketball app that we had to make in the class, just because there's so much amount of scoring. So this is the app that I built. It allows for 2 players. It has starts out with 0, and then it has all of these ways that you can add points to your score while you're playing the game. Then at the bottom you have a reset button that resets both scores back to 0. So that is, let's just look over the text part of the design. That's what the app looks like. Let's look over here. We can open this up to get a preview of it while I'm talking about it. There's a couple things that I feel like are unfinished about this app. I spent way too much time building this app. As far as the course rubric went, I went well beyond what was required in the design of the app for the course rubric, but mostly because cribbage is a very complex game, and I had to have a more complex code in order to deal with that. So in cribbage, you what happens is you, if you don't know, you deal out 6 cards to each player. The dealer gets 2 cards from each player thrown into their crib that they later get to count. Now, so each player has 4 cards. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get the most points out of those 4 cards. So you're trying to get cards that add up to 15, or you're trying to get pairs or triplets or 4 of a kind, or you're trying to get runs. Those are the 3 ways to get points from your hand. So before you get to count the points in your hand, though, everybody has to lay their cards down. And it's not just as simple as laying your cards down. There's a process or a method to it. So the person who didn't deal gets to go first, laying down. And every time you lay a card down, you have opportunities for points. You have opportunities for 15s, which are 2 points. You have opportunities for pairs, and you have opportunities for runs. You also have opportunities for points in what's called a go. So once you get up to 31, if you cannot make 31 exactly, then that it would be considered a go, which is a point, and then whoever has the last card in gameplay also gets another point. So that's what these buttons up here are for, is for the gameplay. You got 15 last cards and go. You can make 15, so after everybody plays their cards, you have the 4 cards in your hand, and if you're lucky enough to get a crib, you have 4 cards in the crib. You count your points, and those are 15. So you can have multiples of 15 all the way up to 16. I was trying to think of the different ways to do it. The best hand in the game of cribbage is where you are given 3 5s and a jack, and you also have a cut card that you can use. It's just a random card that you can use to work with the 4 cards that are in your hand or in your crib. So in a cut card, you have what's called knobs. I got a button down here for it, knobs. When the jack in your hand suit matches the card that was cut, you get 1 point for knobs. So the best hand in cribbage is 29 points. That would be all the 16s and all the pairs, I just realized I don't have pairs for this. I should have a section in here that says 15s runs pairs 2, 4, 6, 8. So that's clearly something that I have to add. Let's see, no, it should be 2, 6, 8. So one pair is 2, 3 of a kind is worth 6, and 4 of a kind is worth 12. So it should be 2, 6, 12 for the pairs. So obviously I have to add that to the app. I just noticed by running through the game of cribbage. So it's not complete, but you could always click on any number that says 2, 6, or 12 in order to add that amount to the score to compensate for me not putting pairs in this app. Another thing that I wanted or would want to have with this app is up here where it says players, I'd like to have an input text where the players can put their name. And then I'd also like, instead of having a reset button, eventually I would like to code it with an if-else statement that says when the score gets to 121 for one of the players, then it will provide you with a toast message on what player won and by how much they won. So there's a rule in Skunk that if you beat a person if the person is 90 points or less after you make 121, that's skunking them. And if the person is 60 points or less once you reach 121, that's a double skunk. So I kind of wanted to make a toast statement once somebody reaches 121 to compare the winner's score to the loser's score and let you know if you won just regular game or if you skunked the person or if you double skunked the person. And I kind of wanted to do that to replace this reset code down at the bottom. So that's about it for this design here. Let's just go look at the Java main activities. So what I had to do is for each one of these buttons, I had to rig it up to a method that would add points to a total score for the buttons. So this is add 1 to player score, and that method's actually used a number of times in this app. It's not just used once. Knobs is worth 1 point, a go is worth 1 point, and last card is worth 1 point. So that method is used a number of times. Same thing with the 2, score 2. This is worth 2, and 15s are worth 2. So I was able to recycle some of the methods in different button on-clicks in order to make my code a little bit easier, I guess. That's about it for this game or this app. Can't think of anything else I really wanted to talk about. Like I said, there's still some things that I clearly want to edit about it, but for now the app satisfies the course, so this is what I'm going to be submitting, and I'll probably play around with it as I continue to learn and make updates to it and polish it up a little bit and have fun with it. So thank you for looking at my app, and I'll see you next time on the next game.